Hello, welcome to Ascension Whispers. My name is Marie Love, and I will be the presenter of this information. Who am I? I am just like you, just like everyone else on the planet who is searching for answers, and for whatever reason, I continue to receive lots of information that I'm told a lot of people desire to know about. So in my desire to serve Source and serve the whole, I am doing my best to share what I receive and what I know with whomever would like to hear it. Is it true? Well, it's my truth. I'm living it. I'm experiencing it open within me, which is an adventure unto itself. But that doesn't make it your truth. You'll have to decide that for yourself. Everybody has to rediscover their own truth within their self. And everyone's truth is not the same, and there's a very real reason for that, which we'll discuss within this presentation. It is known that there will be people who find their way to these video files on YouTube that either know nothing of the concepts of energetic dynamics or are just starting to ask questions and search for answers themselves. So it's kind of challenging for me because I realize within that knowing that it's desired, I would like to be able to talk about very basic things in detail to assist everyone in any way possible that finds their way to these videos. But at the moment, the information that I'm being asked to share with whomever would like to know it is kind of time sensitive in that it is the desire to share this information because of a major, wonderful event that is going to occur December 12th, 2013, to allow those who are interested some understanding of what that event is about. And this information, I receive this information via my vertical pillar to Source, my vertical family of consciousness. And if you have no understanding at the moment what that means, then where does that come from? What does that mean? You could get lost very quickly. I could just say that I receive it from Source, from God's Source. I'm talking to God, and God is giving me this information to share with everyone. And that sounds kind of crazy in and of itself in the world that we live in. It is actually the truth of the situation, but that you do have a family of consciousness that is yours, that everyone should have open communication with all the time. It's not natural that everyone does not. And that's one of the things that is changing. It's already changing on the planet, and it's going to continue to change. So if you're interested in sticking with this information, we will get to a point where if you do not know now, you will understand what it means to have your vertical connection to Source, to have a communication line to your higher levels of consciousness. But we have to start somewhere, and the massive amount of information that is now available within the planetary system is just massive. It requires to understand the December 12th event to some degree of, yeah, I get that, yeah, I can't wait for that. It requires understanding truth. And unfortunately, the truth hasn't been available on this planet for 26,000 years. And it is being returned to the planet. And this truth is that I have to share, that I can access, is available to all life forms on the planet who can access it. The challenge at this moment is not all life forms can access it. And there are very real reasons why that is the challenge. And those reasons are going to heal very quickly. But because of that, if everyone could access this information themselves, there would be no reason for me to share anything. We could just all talk about it. And I'm looking forward to that moment in time when that comes. But until it does come, there are those who desire to know things, who feel things, who are experiencing things that they know something wonderful's going on, but they don't really know what it means and what it's about. So the pieces that I can access that are opening up within me, and we'll understand more of what that means too within these video presentations, I am more than happy to share with anyone that desires to know. But you will have to determine for yourself whether or not it's your truth. Just because it's my truth doesn't make it your truth. And what is true? Is life as it seems? Do you know for certain that what you're viewing and experiencing is real? It certainly feels real, but how can you know for certain? Is it possible that what you're experiencing is an illusion or a reflection image of what is real? And if so, is it possible that that reflected image could become something else than the original image? If you desire to continue listening to this presentation, you're going to find out at least thoughts to think about that could very well answer those questions for you. It is an adventure of a lifetime, literally. What we are experiencing on this planet now, and actually have been for 26,000 years, is an adventure of a lifetime. And because it's been going on for 26,000 years, it's not a new adventure. It's just that this planet is finally experiencing the beauty of healing into truth and what that means. So, because it is known that there will be some people who find their way here that do not know what others might consider to be basic concepts, basic truths, it is desired to start out with a bulleted list of some things to assist such people before we get into new truth, new truth that the planet hasn't been able to access for a long time. I should let you know that I am very aware, extremely aware, of the importance of choosing your words carefully when you're thinking, but especially when you're speaking, sharing with others. And because I am aware of that, sometimes I pause when I'm speaking to others, searching for the best word within myself that I can find in that moment to use to try to express what I'm trying to express. And sometimes I pause because I'm listening to guidance that would like to offer something for that moment. And so I just want you to be aware of that, because I know it can sometimes be an irritation for people that I speak to because I pause and think and listen. So we begin. Creation is made of the conscious energy of Source, and we perceive it as frozen light and sound particles of energy. If you have no concept of that, this probably sounds like sci-fi. This will probably all sound like sci-fi to you if you have no concept of these things. But as we move forward, you might come to realize that sometimes sci-fi is truer than what we call reality. Reality fields are holograms made of light, sound, source energy. They're made of the energy of Source. Everything in creation is the energy of Source. What we perceive as solid manifest is not really manifest. You are not a physical being who may one day become a spiritual energy being. You are a spiritual energetic being having a temporary manifest experience. And most people on the planet do not know that. But they're going to remember pretty quickly here. Energy cannot be destroyed. It simply changes into a different expression of energy. Earth science knows that. Science teaches that in smaller pieces within the science programs within grade school. But they've never taught that. It's never been taught or applied to the human form, the person, the individual. Kind of makes you wonders why when they know that Earth science knows that everything is energy and energy can't be destroyed. And yet Earth science refuses to include within their equations a creative force that many people choose to call God. I choose to call Source. And they do not include that creative force within their equations because they can't put that creative force under their microscopes or use their instruments to discover that force of energy. Earth science will heal too into something else, and that will change. The life experience, everything we see, feel, touch, taste, smell, hear, know, and do not yet know, is an illusion. It's an illusion that's created through light and sound. Thoughts are things. They are not simply nothing that is here 1 minute and gone the next. Thoughts are conscious energy that is currently hotter than the energy we perceive as our manifest hologram. But hotter is not even the truth of it. It's the concept that we can use to apply to that in relationship to the way that we perceive reality. It's hotter as far as higher. It's higher energy that has a higher vibration, a higher type of radiation energy. And it wouldn't matter where you were perceiving from within creation, that will always apply. Your thoughts, your conscious thoughts, all thoughts are conscious, all consciousness is energy, all energy is source. There is no other source of energy within creation except the one eternal God source of creation. Consciousness is thought. Thought takes up no space. And I know that can be pretty hard to get our brains around. We'll look at it some more. I'm not exactly sure that we'll understand it completely, but we might have a bit of more understanding of it as we go through the program. Space and time are an illusion that do not really exist and can only be experienced within a hologram. And that, too, is an important truth to be aware of, and we will see how space and time are created and discover why it's an important truth to be aware of. You are a smaller expression of Source, God Source, currently embodied within the illusion of matter particles, and you are doing so that you can experience all that is available to experience. Physical death of the body form is not organic or natural to your original creation, but has become thought to be a natural part of the life experience. Have you ever wondered why, if you cut your finger, your body will heal that cut? Or if you get a cold or the flu, your body will heal that from you? Your body is working on healing itself constantly, or at least trying to. And so if your body can heal those things that we all experience from time to time and know that they can be healed, why does the body die? Shouldn't the body be able to heal itself and not die? There is an extremely huge reason for that, with lots of detail, and we're going to look at that. Illness, sickness, and disease are not a natural part of your original creation, but have occurred for such a long time on Earth that no one can currently remember that it's not natural. That's going to change. You should all know everything there is to know about creation. You should not wonder where Source is, or even if Source exists. You should not have to guess about making choices in life. You should be aware that you are telepathic, able to sense and read energy, and know all kinds of truth about yourself. the abilities that the eternal human race was created by Source to hold, to be able to use, have been turned off within the planetary system for so long, and because of other things that have occurred for so long that no one can remember that those kind of things are natural. We're supposed to all be able to do those kind of things, and things we can't even remember we're supposed to do. Those kind of things are starting to turn back on, and that too will increase. Wars, fighting, hunger, lack, fear, worry, or imbalance should not exist within our life. Thoughts create. Even if we cannot yet remember the truth that thoughts create, that doesn't stop them from creating. They continue to create whether we remember it or not. We are creating our life experience via the thoughts we have and the things that we believe to be true. That is another huge comment right there as well. Whatever you hold as your beliefs, you will co-create those to experience. Whether it's true or not, you will still co-create them to experience, simply because of the way that creation occurs, which we're going to look at a lot of that as well. We are creating our life experience via the thoughts we have and the things that we believe to be true. You should know where you came from before you birthed here. You should know how you got here, where you're going to go when you leave Earth, and how you're going to get there. And you did know all of those things before you birthed here. And there's a very real reason why everyone forgets that when they birth here. Oh my, is the reason big, and we're going to discover that as well. Your physical body is a temporary vehicle to allow you to have a life experience on Earth. If you did not enter your consciousness into what we perceive as a physical body form, no one else within the reality field would be able to interact with you, know that you were here. So that's the major reason that we do that, because we want to experience the life experience on Earth. But it's been more than just experiencing. The reason why people, consciousness, have continued to do that, especially the last 26,000 years. And it has to do with healing, and we'll discover what that means. You should know everything there is to know about your physical body vehicle. It's your body. You assisted to create it so that you could have the life experience. You should know how it works. You shouldn't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to go to school and be taught what someone wants you to know about the way that your physical body works. You could think of your physical body as your car for your consciousness, and you should know how it works. You should know that you are Source embodied, God Source. Most of the people on the planet have not yet remembered that fact, and there's reasons why. Very real reasons why. And that too is going to change. Source creates an uncountable number of life expressions within creation. So if you happen to be someone who is still holding on to the thoughts that extraterrestrial life, ETs, do not exist, or if they do exist, they're not interested in planet Earth, well, that will heal as you heal, but it will have to heal. Because healing into truth, which is occurring and will continue to occur on the planet, will require it to heal. So if you're not yet able to think that that's a possibility, you will find out soon enough that that is the truth. All life forms currently existing on planet Earth are extraterrestrial life forms to planet Earth. No life form that exists within this reality field originated here. So, you don't have to look very far to find ETs. Just look around the planet and you'll find them everywhere you look. You should know the truth of the existence of ET life forms. You should know the truth of science and creation. You should know why life experiences occur as they do. You should know why people do crazy things to each other. You should know why there's this thought in the world that it's a dog-eat-dog world. And if you want to get ahead in life, you have to climb your way to the top and walk all over the little people in the process. That's not natural. It has been occurring within this reality field for a very long time, because the reality field has been extremely distorted, imbalanced for a very long time. But that's not natural. Life shouldn't be like that. You should know what an eternal life being is, and what a finite life being is, and why they are such. You should know what allows a life being to be eternal or finite. What do you know? What do you accept as truth? And why do you accept what you do as truth? Who told you it was truth? What made them think it was truth? Where did the original thoughts you accept as truth originate? Very few of us on this planet, including myself, currently remember where everything that we accept as truth came from. It's just truth, you're born, you're taught what you're supposed to be taught here, what you're allowed to be taught here, that everyone else accepts as truth. So you just go through your life the best you can, and there may be some questioning of things that there's no way that, such as what I'm sharing with you now, there's no way that could be true. But you should know all truths, and you should know where everything that you choose to believe is true originated from. What might you not currently know that you should know? You're about to discover the answer to that question. And you're going to be remembering the truth sooner than later, a whole lot sooner than later. We're taught the names of things from an early age. We're taught what is considered the truth of the names of things from those who come before us, and have believed for a very long time that the names applied are correct. Naming something is an aspect of the level of consciousness applying the name. We will soon to begin to remember what names really mean, or some names, and why a name or a label of anything within creation changes as the conscious awareness of the individual life form changes. So what that means is, as people, life forms, we think of people, heal to become more aware of the truth of creation, of Source, of their relationship with Source, whether or not Source even exists, why life occurs as it does. As people heal into truth about all of those concepts and a whole lot more, then you perceive reality different. You understand things differently, moment by moment, differently than you did the moment before. And as you perceive your reality different, you realize that names of things, especially within this reality field, do not always mean what you think they mean. Here's a list of some names that I've been asked to share with you. It was actually guidance that titled this list here, Name Dropping. We'll understand some more about that later. The universe. Uni means one of something. We have been taught to call what we perceive as creation, when we look out into outer space, the universe. But the universe is simply one system of a multiverse. Therefore, what we perceive as all of creation is considered a multiverse. And after I received, this was a major aha moment for me in learning, remembering, rediscovering this information to be able to share with whomever wants to hear it. I kept hearing, via my guidance, it kept being discussed multiverse. I'm thinking, what is a multiverse? What are you talking about? Well, as I have come to realize is normal, in order to understand something, conceptualize something, you have to have an awareness of that something open within you. And so it required healing for me to unblock the untruth that what I'm looking at when I look out in creation is called a universe, so that I could understand what a multiverse was. So what we have been taught as a universe is a multiverse. And after this occurred, I finally became aware that there has been discussion about that within the scientific community for quite some time. I was not aware of it. Just not aware of things like that's going on within that area of the planet. But within their discussion, universe won out. So that's what they chose, and that's what everyone's taught. Verse is a part of something, such as a line in a song or a poem. Universe is one line or one system within the multiverse. That understanding may make us wonder if that means there's more than one multiverse. We will discover that understanding within the presentation. Galaxy. We are taught that life systems that Earth science studies and the one we're currently live within are called galaxies. That name is another name that has been assigned to such creations by life forms within the 3D reality field. I mean, you have to, if you're going to talk about something, whether it's the house next door or a planet thousands of miles away from you, in order to talk about it with someone else, you name it. You name it something. Just like the one ocean on the planet has been given many different names so that people have a reference point when they're talking about it or navigating somewhere. So naming something is just part of the life experience. But when you can't remember the truth of creation, then naming things is kind of like a hit and miss, shot in the dark thing. Is, well, like naming your child. I'm going to call you this. This is your name. But names don't always mean what you really think they mean. A galaxy is actually considered to be a universal time matrix. And there are an uncountable number of time matrices within the multiverse. All of the names of the time matrices, galaxies we currently have awareness of, have spawned from people on Earth who have named them throughout Earth's history. They didn't actually, all of them, think up those names on their own, but we'll talk about that some more later. Creation, as we are currently experiencing, is a multiverse, which holds an uncountable number of universal time matrices, which holds an uncountable number of solar systems, which hold an uncountable number of stars and smaller life form expressions. Stars. All of the individual life forms that exist within solar systems are considered to be stars. Suns are stars, planets are stars, people and all of the smaller life forms are stars. Actually, everything that exists in what we see as creation out there that shines are considered to be stars. Stars are spheres of energy that shine forth per the amount of energy held within them. All of outer creation of the multiverse exists as spheres of energy, but the shine of those spheres can only be seen per the energy accretion level of the observer, which means that we can only perceive energy per the amount of energy we hold open within ourselves. If we do not hold energy open within ourselves, then we will not perceive what is within that energy to perceive, and we will not access the knowledge that is held within that energy to know. And this comes to trying to understand that everything within creation is energy. It is the energy of God's source. Everything that we perceive as solid manifest is an illusion. It doesn't really exist as we perceive it. It exists as energy. All of creation exists, just not as we perceive it. And we're going to learn why that is. Planets that do not shine, like a sun shines, is because they've encountered structural damage that has turned off the flows of the energy of source and no longer allows them to shine. What we consider to be planets would not shine as bright, as hot as a sun in a solar system. But it should have a coronosphere. It should shine similar. And planet Earth does have a little bit of shine to it, thank goodness. We have seen that from pictures that the scientific community has shared with the population. But it should have a whole lot more shine than what it does. And it will. Its shine will come back on. Viewing a universal time matrix. When we look out into space, we are seeing our universal time matrix. But the situation that the Earth has been held within for hundreds of thousands of years hinders our view of what we see. And that understanding is massive too. We'll get there. Energy accretion level. Perceptual view of the observer is limited to the energy accretion level of the observer. As the energy accretion level of the viewer increases, they become aware of much larger view of the multiverse. From the perceptual viewpoint, it would simply seem as if new things were then discovered. But the perception of new things being discovered is a result of forgetting they were there to begin with. We can see that more visibly, experience it the way that we do, within our hologram. When there's news reports that a new life species has been discovered on the planet. It's not actually that a new life species has been discovered when that occurs, but that we have just become able to know, to see that life species within our hologram. And when species become extinct, we perceive that as them dying out, being killed, or whatever makes them become extinct. Sometimes there's no known reason why they become extinct. It all has to do with energy accretion level, and the fact that not everything on the planet, nothing on the planet, is terrestrial to the planet itself. As stated earlier, everything here is extraterrestrial, and we'll discover what that means. Black and white holes. Black and white holes exist in all layers of creation, from the smallest to the largest levels of creation. All of source energy enters into what we perceive as creation is called outer creation via a white hole, and returns to oneness, or what we do not have any perception of, to oneness with source via a black hole. The illusion of moving from one energy layer into another, or one energetic system into another energetic system within creation, involves exiting the current system via a black hole and entering a new system via a white hole. When you incarnated into a baby body in the earth reality field and you birthed from your mother's womb, you did so through a white hole. When you leave the reality field to experience higher energetic reality fields, you will do so through a black hole. And you may have heard, most people have, I don't know, there's probably people on the planet that have not, but a lot of people have heard of things called near-death experiences. And people that have near-death experiences and then share their experience with that. And most all of them, not all of them, but most all of them report a feeling of going through a tunnel and seeing a bright white light at the end of the tunnel. And it was as if the white light was pulling them to it. That's a black and a white hole. It looks like a tunnel because it's energy that's spiraling. And it's spiraling it doesn't eat you. It doesn't pull you to where you want to go. It's like the doorway in between where you were and where you're going to go next. So the experience, the near-death experience of traveling through the tunnel is traveling through the black hole to get to the white hole that's in the same space as that. In our perception of the way that we perceive space, it would seem as if it was on the other side of it. But it's in the same space with it. And then going through that white hole into the next system, just like you did when you birthed here through your mother's womb to get on this planet. There do exist black holes that in the last few years on this planet have been called things like fallen black holes or antichristic black holes. We'll talk about that quite a bit more as we get to that point in the presentation. And they do exist, but that has become aware within the consciousness on the planet in these last few years for a reason, an agenda, and that agenda was to create fear, not necessarily by people that have reported them and talked about them, but there's a higher agenda behind that we'll discover what that is, and it was purposefully opened. The knowledge of such opened within the mass consciousness to generate fear. Fallen black holes, as they've been called, antichristic black holes, the same thing. Distorted black holes, the same thing. They're black holes that spin in the opposite direction from an organic black hole. And they're not natural. No, they're not eternal. Let's put it that way. They're a natural part of creation in that they're possible, but they're not eternal. They're not eternal life forms. And we'll discover how they come to be, what that means, and what some of the agenda was in allowing that awareness to come about within the population as it has in the last few years. They exist in the same spot as counter-rotating spirals of energy. Yeah, we talked about that. Earth science has discovered in the last few years that there exists a black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. They can't actually see the black hole. You can't see black and white holes when you're experiencing creation as we are, but you can see the effects of them, just like the effect of birthing as a baby through your mother's womb. You don't know. You should know. You don't know at this moment that you're moving your consciousness through a white hole when that occurs. You don't know at this moment that in order to get on the planet, you're moving your consciousness through a white hole. Through a white hole, but you should know those things. There exists a black and white hole at the center of the Milky Way. There exists one at the center of the sun, at the center of the planet. There's all kinds of smaller black and white hole sets within creation, and they exist within you as well. And it's just it's kind of like the superhighway of creation that allows consciousness, conscious energy of source, which you are, to travel to the many different layers of creation, energetic fields, reality fields that exist within creation. So it's kind of like the ramps to get on and off of the superhighway to travel around within creation. But Earth science, when they are looking out into space and finding these things, they can't really see the black hole. They can just see what the effects are going on around the perimeter of that black hole to the light that they see. And they know from what they see, have been able to calculate, that the light is being pulled into the black hole by a force that is extremely strong because nothing is shining within that spot that has been termed a black hole. But they are not able to know that there's a white hole on the other side of that, and where everything that's being pulled in there might be going to. And they won't be able to know that for quite some time. Counterclockwise base spirals are sending source energy into a system, whatever that system is, whether it's a time matrix galaxy, a sun, a planet, a star, a person, any life form that is an eternal life form is receiving energy from source to express, to be alive, to be a live expression of source. and that energy is received to them from source, spinning counterclockwise, and it's base electrical. That doesn't mean electricity like we think of electricity on this planet, and it doesn't even mean electromagnetic fields. Those type of energy is source energy, expressing as those types of energy. But the energy that comes from source to allow that to occur doesn't come as that type of energy until it reaches the point that it changes into those types of energy. The clockwise base magnetic spiral is taking energy back out of a system and returning it to oneness with source. And again, that's not magnetic as we think of magnetic here in this reality field as magnets, sticking to steel or whatever. It's base magnetic. We'll talk some more about that later. And they're working in the same spot within creation. We perceive energetic fields, such as electromagnetic fields, as counter-rotating spirals of energy. We see that effect when we see images from earth science, such as of galaxies and stuff. We see that effect of our own planet. But the view of counter-rotating spirals of energy is a perceptual view, and you will only see energy looking like it's doing that when you're within certain layers of creation. Because the energy that comes into a system from source and then goes back out, it's like a conveyor belt of energy. It never stops. The source is eternal. That comes in and goes back out. It actually goes on the same spiral of energy. It's just that it's different types of energy. One is base electrical and one is base magnetic. So it spirals in the same spiral in and out of creation, from and back to oneness with source. But it's kind of like traveling the same highway and opposing traffic going in different directions. Living counter-rotating spirals of energy only occur within outer creation as a result of polarized source energy. All polarized energy returns to non-polarized energy when a life form removes their consciousness from the polarized energy of holographic reality field. Polarized energy can only be perceived when experiencing within the illusion of holographic reality fields. We're going to see the point at which polarization of energy occurs that allows outer creation to exist, that allows us to be able to have a life experience as source embodied. Later on, when we look at the eternal creation process and the information within this material, the eternal creation process is just now being returned to the planet. The information that I'm able to access now, that I've been trying to get to a point to be able to start sharing it with you by the requested date from guidance of the end of November, to allow anyone that desires some understanding of the December 12 event. It has been an adventure within myself of healing, and then having to heal to a point of becoming aware of how the healing was occurring, to allow this information to open up within myself for me to become aware of it. It's a wonderful experience. And I know that a lot of people on the planet are experiencing that to whatever degree they are. And so if you're not yet, hold on to your seat. You're going to pretty quickly here.